But yeah, I guess we can move on from our Jumpstart discussion, because we actually have one or two new one-shots that also came out in the time we've been kind of on break, or haven't gotten the chance to do some of these. So the first one we're going to be talking about is Inishie no Horobimon, or Ancient Ruin Crest, from Hiroshi Shiibashi, the creator of Nura: Rise of the Yokai Clan. And yeah, so basically this series thankfully could be summed up in its 2-page spread, basically explaining the premise of this entire one shot. I think I said series, one shot. I meant to say one shot. So like the long and short of it is essentially like the mythology of this one shot. I keep wanting to say series. Pretty much dates back to like ancient times, where like you have all these different powerful clans that are basically decorated with their own like crest or whatever, their own family crests, that, you know, summon these creatures or whatnot. And basically when the guardian crests, like when the clan crests die, or I guess when the person who owns the crest dies, like the master of the crest dies, you know, like the crest basically, you know, goes out of control, and it's basically up to I forget which clan. Like there's
the
one other
Yasuo clan
yeah.
created the Guardian Crest, and then the Hoshi clan sealed the Ruin Crest, the crest that turned Pharaoh.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, essentially, you have this girl from the Yasuo clan who created the Guardian Crests, and then you have this one kid from the Hoshi clan who, you know, is basically helping her collect the sealed crests. And there's this whole thing where like they don't get along because, you know, the girl is treated a lot better than the kid because she's from the better clan, and they don't get along because he's constantly trying to help her, but she doesn't want help because she's better than him. And I don't know if you could tell, but I really wasn't into this one shot that much at all.
I didn't care for it that much when I first read it, but I appreciated it a lot more when I reread it. In general, though, I didn't think it was that strong a one-shot, just because in my mind I kept comparing it to Twin Star Exorcists, because this idea
oh my God, yeah.
of two clans and one boy and one girl from the clan team up to fight, you know, demons and seal them away, exorcise them, you know, that's pretty similar premises. And then Twin Star Exorcist just like has more, you know, emotional weight behind its first chapter, and then more interesting ideas it's presenting, and then explores later on in the series. And then with this one, I didn't really feel like there was a really more interesting idea behind it beyond, hey, there's these crests, and, you know, they're feral, and then these guys are teaming up, and this, you know, this kid from the Hoshi clan, you know, he's kind of a mess up. Like, he's not that skilled yet, but, you know, he's trying really hard, and he has a lot of potential, and eventually he can probably meet that potential. So, you know, it's very much focused on, you know, hey, this character can grow as these two are working together, and, you know, they'll become more skilled, and they'll get all the crests, I guess. But, like, the crests themselves, there is, I guess, some interesting idea in there, in that they were worn by maidens, and then those maidens died in probably very tragic ways, and so when those maidens died, like, and the crest turned feral, the emotions behind them when they died influenced, like, how dangerous the crest is. So it could deal a lot with that, perhaps, if it were ever to, you know, expand into a series. But, like, looking at this as a one-shot and, like, what it's presenting in terms of, like, ideas it could explore, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, there's an obvious direction for the series to go if it were to become a series, but nothing in this one shot really felt like there's bringing anything new to the table that I couldn't fine in an existing series, specifically Twin Star Exorcist, because again, the dynamic between Rokuro and Benio in Twin Star Exorcist is more interesting. There's like a more fun tension in the fact that they're engaged and they hate each other at the beginning, so that leads to a lot of great comedic hijinks. But like Arima and Shiroha, like they bicker a little bit, and like Shiroha is very, serious and competent and stuff, so she doesn't really respect Arima that much, but then she later recognizes, oh, this guy might have potential. I'll try and make as most use out of it as I can, because I guess in this situation, I do need the help, so, I don't know, I just didn't think it was that, they were like that compelling in this first chapter, these characters, so, or rather one shot, but yeah, I don't know, I again, it's just, I like the art, but the setting, the plot of it, I've seen it before in Twin Star Exorcist, and it's just not as compelling as it was in there.
See, I actually thought the art was sort of cluttered in a few places, and I thought it kind of just, for me, I don't want to say it made it hard to read, but it kind of made it like for me, it kind of made it like a chore to read. Like,
yeah.
There were some pages in the beginning where it's like there's a lot of gags and stuff that kind of go like back and forth, and I don't know. There were some pages where I thought Shiibashi kind of adds a little too much at one time.
I agree with that. Like, the first few pages are like a lot of gags, and like they didn't read as gags because just too much information is just being crammed in that you can't really process it and let anything that's being told to you sink in. There's just too much visual information along with, a bunch of text that's just, like, it really clutters up the page. And so when I was first reading this, my eyes were, like, wandering, and, like, I just wanted to flip through it because I was getting bored. And then when I reread it the second time, was actually, like, making the effort to pay attention and, like, absorb everything that's happening. I had more appreciation for the art, just as art, but I still think that the information is too cluttered in terms of like how things are laid out and in terms of how things are paced. So there are some neat standalone images, I feel, and I like the character designs decently enough. They're not that distinct still, but like, they're fine. I like Shiroha's design the best, I guess. I like her eyes, I guess. But
I don't know. Like from the little I have read of Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, I think I can say with confidence that the art in that series is probably a lot better.
Perhaps. I haven't read Nura, so I couldn't compare, but
yeah, I really want to read Nura at some point and maybe cover it on the show, because that's a series I remember. Like, I remember a lot of, at least a few people liking. I don't remember it being like a super popular series, but it had its fans, so I wouldn't mind maybe checking that out at some point. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just really wasn't into this one shot at all. It just didn't really stand out to me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more when I reread it. Like, it's a fine enough story, but again, Twin Star Exorcist is in the back of my mind while I was reading it, and when I'm constantly comparing it to that series, like, this falls short just completely, and it just reminded me, man, I really should go back and continue reading Twin Star Exorcist. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
I've seen a bit of the anime. I think I watched at least like 6 episodes of that. I feel like I would probably like it more reading it.
Yeah, the anime adds a lot of filler stuff.
Of course.
It's kind of like a Black Clover anime situation, but worse because Twin Star Exorcist is a monthly series, so they don't even cover as much.
Okay.